All right, so this is going to be day 3 of the qualifiers, and now we got to see how the qualifiers did. As day number 3, we're going to see how everything happened and how everything was. As you can see, very quickly, sorry about that. Taking a look early on, there are some teams that kind of got blown out of the water. You never know. They might be spoilers. Some of the best teams, they played the same team twice. So the biggest surprise was Georgia tying Stanford at Stanford. And now you saw we went over everything yesterday. Group number 10 is right in there. This is going to be day number 3 of 14. Remember, the top 2 go, and then the third place, the last chance tournament goes in. So now this is going to be week number 3, and we went over some of the biggest games last time. There we go. I have no idea as we come on, whether anything I said before was in there. All I can tell you is that some teams are good, some teams are not. Like Miami of Florida, they really played a lot better. They lost 27-20 to USC after losing 48-0. So they're not a team that's a 2-0 throwaway, and Northwestern is a good team. They could beat Louisiana State, LSU. But we're going to find out in game number 3. We're going to find out how these teams do 3 of 14 in qualifiers. And, the LSU loses. That's big. Fresno State a win. Ohio State a win. Virginia easy. Rutgers wins. Michigan State beats Georgia. Wake Forest wins. Stanford a big win there. West Virginia a huge win. Temple a big win over Bowling Green. Lafayette beats Pitt. Southern Cal 3-0. Kentucky 3-0. Miami gets a win. Florida Atlantic gets a win. Penn State beats Central Michigan. Army beats the West. Arkansas win. Virginia Tech wins. And Middle Tennessee State goes. BC a big win over Washington at home. Clemson beats their rival. NC State a big win, and Florida State barely beats Tulane. Buffalo beats Eastern Michigan. Washington State is 3-0. Georgia Tech 31-21. Florida 40-26. They're 3-0. BYU 3-0. Cincinnati 3-0. Navy 1-2. They barely beat Duke. Louisville a big win. Auburn a big win. Troy loses to San Diego State. Kansas State barely beats Ohio. Mississippi State wins. Northern Illinois. Oklahoma State barely beats New Mexico. Kansas a big win. Wisconsin very big there. 23-14. Missouri beats Southern Florida. Oklahoma blasts Central. Texas Tech all over Indiana 66-44. 565 yards. Texas a big win. Illinois is 3-0. They beat Wyoming. Tennessee 41-0. Michigan big win. Minnesota loses. Baylor gets their first win. Purdue kills Boise State, who's 0-3. East Carolina beats Nevada. Syracuse by 1 over North Carolina. Vanderbilt beat Colorado State. Utah beat UConn. Arizona State beat Alabama. A big game there. Oregon State beat Houston 16-7. Cal beat Texas UTEP. They get the first win. Oregon's 3-0. Nebraska surprising 3-0. And Hawaii gets their first win, doubling up Akron. And the biggest thing is Georgia loses. Number 2 loses. Now we're going to take a quick look. Now they're going to take a quick look right here. And we'll have a look at all the standings and everything that you can see. First of all, the games. Northwestern beat Louisiana State. They scored 7 in the fourth. That was a big upset there, 24-13. Fresno State blew out San Jose State. Fresno State is a good football team. They are looking like they could win the World Cup. That will be in the World Cup at least. Ohio State beat UNLV, just very solid there. Nothing very big there. Beckman 13 of 15, 171 and a touchdown. Virginia beat Southern. They were up 35-7 and blew them out. Seriously, that was very big. Rutgers gets their first win in big game at Marshall. Remember, Marshall played Ohio State and played Ohio State close, so they were one of those good 0-2 teams. And Rutgers then went down and they won. And whenever you go to rushing, Ray Rice, 177 and a touchdown, a 34-24 win. Michigan State beat Georgia. And Georgia, Matthew Stafford, only 17 of 40 for 182. Oh, that was tough. Let's go right now, and we hit play. Sorry about this. I want to go to and see some of the better games. You take a look. Virginia beat Southern Miss. Virginia's a good team. They're a good football team. They just blasted out. They were 35-7 at the half. Stanford by 7. Penn State is 3-0. They won by 17. Atlantic beat International. Miami beat SMU. SMU not that bad. SMU came back, but they couldn't hit the onside kick. Army won a BC. Matt Ryan, 48-30. They had 27 second quarter points. And BC at 27-6. Yeah, that was huge, as Matt Ryan, 31 of 46 for 403 and 6 touchdowns. 6 of them. Yeah, that's a little bit crazy there. Clemson beat South Carolina with 25 seconds to go. They scored twice. Late, they scored a touchdown, then a punt, then they didn't play for the tie. A touchdown, game over. Florida State beat Tulane. Florida State, Tulane tried to come back. Nothing good there. There were some big ones. I know Indiana and Texas Tech. New Mexico, they gave them all they got. Touchdown in the fourth quarter, a lot of punts, and the game's over. So New Mexico just couldn't do it. But, Kansas wins. Wisconsin wins. Missouri beats South Florida. That's big. Oklahoma's 3-0. Look at Texas Tech, 108 points here, as it was 52-42 and then 66-42. There was 1,154 yards. 1,154, 45 of 65 for Harrell, and 6 touchdowns. Oh, wow. They're going to be big. It was 42-28 at the half. Cut it to 45-35, and then 52-42. And that was about it. Texas is 3-0. We saw that. Michigan good. Tennessee. We all saw this. Tennessee, it's a little different. Nebraska beat UCLA. They were down by 1, then they ended up scoring late. You see, there's very little ties. It's hard to get ties when there are no 2-point conversions. When there are no 2-point conversions, it's hard to get ties. 42-9, Hawaii. In that, and Hawaii gets their first win. They're 1-2. Cole Brennan, 36 of 54 for 485. Let's take a look at the standings and who is doing what after 3. There are going to be some really good matchups here. And we're going into the semifinals in baseball, so don't worry, that'll be good. Kansas State, Fresno State, Purdue, 1, 2, and 3. LSU dropped down. What a loss. What a loss to Northwestern, so LSU has to come back. They were number one and number 2 having trouble, as Georgia is number 2. And they are in trouble as Michigan State, Wake Forest, a 1 and 2. Georgia's going to have to fight for that 3rd spot as they lose. Wow, that was big. Southern Cal, Oklahoma State, Kentucky, New Mexico, you never know. New Mexico played Oklahoma State very, very well. And if they play well here, you never know. I think Bob Davie is the coach here. I'm not too sure. Group 4. Missouri and Penn State are up there, South Florida, and you can see right now there's just a lot of that. Group 5, Virginia and Ohio State is up there. Group 6, West Virginia is undefeated, averaging 28-7 a game that they're winning. Big win there over Arizona as they won, and that's, when you do that, that's big, but they still got Oregon State and Houston and Arizona again. To fight. Group 7, Kansas and Wisconsin. Colorado is 2-1. Group 8, Arkansas, Oregon, and Oklahoma, all 3-0s. Group 9, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech, and Nebraska. UCLA down 1. Group 10, the tough one. You have 3, 4, 5 teams: Clemson, BC, NC State, Florida State, South Carolina at 2-1. Then South Carolina, Texas A&M, Washington. And Tulane, who barely lost to Florida State. So that's big. Illinois, Texas, Vandy. Vanderbilt is big. They might join that 3rd place group, but I don't know if they're going to meet Illinois or Texas. Group 12, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Washington State. Wow, Washington State is a team to watch. They have no defense, but they're a heck of an offensive team. Group 13, Florida and Michigan. Looking very good there with Iowa trailing. Group 14, BYU, Louisville, and Cincinnati. So that's kind of panning out, but, you know, Louisville is up there. In Group 15, Auburn, Arizona State, Alabama is 3rd, with Troy is 2-1, losing their first today. We're going to go to next week. Cyro 329, good to see you. These are the qualification rounds. So Cyro 329, very good to see you. I'm very happy that you're here. We're going to have 2 games, both on Sunday in Pakistan time. So, you know, this Saturday I have to coach volleyball. My buddy's the head coach. I'm an assistant. And then after that, it is that night, I think I'm doing something or whatever. So let's take a look at week number 4, Ohio and San Jose State. Kansas State and Fresno State. That's going to be a big game. That'll be Friday. Tomorrow, nothing tomorrow because we got that parent night. I'll be at the school forever. Mississippi State 1 and 2, Arkansas State and Rutgers, Georgia and Maryland. That's a big one at Maryland. If Georgia can beat Maryland, that would be huge. Temple and Pitt, that's a huge one. Penn State and South Florida, you never know. Oklahoma State, SMU's a little bit better. Kentucky, Oregon at Central Florida, Texas Tech and Ball State, UCLA and Middle Tennessee. Tennessee and Akron, Vanderbilt 3-0. They might go 4-0. NC State, Clemson, and Washington. That's a big one. Hawaii wants to even their record against Kent. Georgia Tech 3-0. Washington State, they're 3-0. They beat Notre Dame. They didn't beat Notre Dame, but they're going to be favored. They could go 4-0. Florida is 3-0. They play Tulsa. I'm looking at other big games. BYU, they're 3-0. Cincinnati 3-0. They play Rice. Troy is there. Auburn and Alabama. That'll be a big one. Auburn and Alabama. Purdue and LSU. If Purdue wins, number 1 can go down. Wake Forest and Michigan State, both 3-0. Stanford needs a win. They're playing TCU. Missouri, West Virginia playing Houston, one of the teams that'll push them qualifying-wise. Arkansas beating North Carolina. Virginia Tech over Indiana. Indiana struggling. Nebraska, 3-0. They could go 4-0. They can make the World Cup. Michigan and Iowa, big game. Florida State, Texas A&M, you never know. Arizona State and Virginia, both 3-0. They play Oregon State, Arizona. Southern Cal could be 4-0. Josh David Booty there. Wisconsin trying to go 4-0. Kansas 4-0. But that game against Colorado is going to be big. New Mexico, can they beat Miami? If New Mexico beats Miami, they'll be 3-1. People will be talking. If Oklahoma wins big, if BC beats South Carolina, that's big. Texas playing Wyoming and Illinois and Utah State. All right, that's going to be it for us today. The Creators Cup will be next, and that'll be a good one. Have a great day. Zyro329, always good to see you. Always good to see you, but hey, now it's the Creators Cup time. When this is done with the whatever, then I am going to show you when this is done, I'm going to show when we qualify, then I will show the World Cup, and we'll actually play games. Each team in each group will play one home game and one road game against everybody in their group. So one home game, that's a total of 6. Your top 2 go to the knockout round, and they're all neutral sites in the Orange Bowl, and we'll have them all. We will have them all. So that'll be the knockout phase, the top 16. Have a great day. I'll see you later.